It has been a while. I recognize that. But, hi guys. It is Katie O'Loughlin, or as you guys may better know from all these years, Madame Macabre. I realize it's been a while since I've been back here. It probably seems like I just literally fell off the face of the earth, because I kind of did. I kind of did. These last couple of years have been crazy. I think a lot of us have gone through a lot of craziness and changes, so that everything's been on fire everywhere with everyone, so I think that's no surprises there. However, I kind of have been wanting to get back into making videos and connecting with you guys again for a while, actually, but I've been kind of tiptoeing around jumping back in because it had been so long. And I was thinking myself to death about what I wanted this first video back to be. I had started writing different scripts and different ideas and like maybe a video essay or this or that, and I realized first and foremost, before anything, I just wanted to say hey and sort of be authentic and explain what's been going on, because I think what I went through the last couple years, a lot of people have been going through, and that it might be more relatable that way, just to sort of do a flow of consciousness here. It's no secret that a lot of stuff went wonky and belly up after the big sick hit. I don't even know if we're still allowed to not mention that on YouTube, but just to be safe, we'll call it that. But that definitely messed things up for a lot of people. It threw a lot of things into uncertainty, and it drained people. And I had been doing YouTube for a long time before that anyway, and if I'm totally honest, I was already fighting some pretty extreme burnout. This is aging myself a little bit, but I had been doing YouTube for a good 15 years. It's a long time to be doing the same thing, and I was already quickly approaching burnout. I mean, everything on YouTube was changing, like shorts were a thing, TikTok became a thing, so everything, the whole playing field was rapidly changing, and I didn't really know how to handle that. I mean, it's always been just me doing my stuff. I've never had a team or editors or anything like that, and it got overwhelming and scary, and then I was dealing with burnout on top of that, and then the Fire Nation attacked. Everything in the world changed, and it was just the perfect mixture to just crash out. I mean, let's be honest. Who hasn't been personally victimized by the last couple years? All that to say, it was an interesting couple years of my life, and I am finally at a point where I feel refreshed enough that I want to reconnect with you guys and get back into doing things. I finally don't feel like soulless on this platform, because if I'm so real, part of what made it sort of not connect with me so much anymore is it started to feel way more like a business than a hobby and something that brought me joy. And the reality is, it started out as storytelling and creepy things and having fun and being artistic. I was doing it for the love of it, and then when it started to feel more like, this is a trend, you gotta do this, this is trending, this is how the meta game is played now, and it's never what I wanted out of YouTube, and that just exemplified all the feelings of burnout I was struggling with. But I've taken some time, and when I say that, a lot has happened in life in the last couple years, including I've been moving around all over the place. Fun little lore drop. I spent a little over a year living alone in rural Appalachia. That was fun. Oh, you better believe I have stories. Talk about, running away to find yourself. Family friends bought a big ol' Victorian farmhouse out in 100 acres of woods in Appalachia. And they're business people. They were running a business other side of the country, back in Washington, and they needed somebody to keep an eye on the house until they could get there. And the time that they were going to be coming back kept getting pushed farther and farther back because they needed to do more stuff with their business. So I was out there alone, house sitting that beautiful house in rural Appalachia in a little holler, population about 800, myself included. So I think I'd like to share some of those stories with you guys, because that was kind of a defining period of time for me, and figuring out where I was going in life and all that. You meet some interesting people out in places like that. Very interesting people. I mean, hell, I learned how to sail a boat. I learned how to fly a plane. there was a pilot out there, like old pilot, had a personal plane. He's old, retired, and lonely, and he's like, nobody wants to go flying in this plane anymore. I'm like, bet, okay, sign me up. I'll learn how to fly a plane. So lots of interesting life experiences. Just ran off to the woods and had some life experiences. I am currently no longer living isolated in rural Appalachia. I am now in Phoenix, Arizona, and it is summer, and it's currently 107 degrees out right now, so if the air conditioning kicks on and you hear that in the background, my apologies, but there's nothing I can do about that. But yeah, so I'm in Phoenix now. I can't guarantee I'm gonna long-term be here. Realistically, I miss the woods. I just don't think I want to go quite as remote as Appalachia again. Maybe next up I'll try North Arizona or somewhere else with forest and trees that's not quite that experience. That being said, I got a lot out of, oh, there's the air conditioner. I got a lot out of my time living out there, and I've got a lot of new story times. If you guys are still interested in hearing from me, I've got a bunch of stories I'd like to start sharing with you guys. I know I'm just like, hello, I'm alive. A few of you guys have been following my other socials like Instagram. I've kept that kind of alive, but otherwise, like I dropped off the face of the earth. Other changes, I work with a museum now. I've been working with museums, developing programming, like historical properties, maintaining them, and giving tours and stuff. So complete like different direction with the stuff I've been doing with my career. So I've got a lot of interesting stories I would love to share with you guys. And more of my videos will be more structured than this. This is very loosey-goosey, like I mentioned, off the cuff. I just kind of didn't know how to rip this Band-Aid, be like, hey guys, I'm back. And anytime I tried doing an overly scripted thing, it just didn't feel right. I figured, okay, let's be honest. Let's just, speak from the heart, rip that Band-Aid, be like, hey guys, I'm back. And I would like to stay back. I want to change the focus. I don't want to be so stressed out over this as a business, and that's where I think things are going to be a little different for me going forward, because now that I'm working as a museum professional, I've got that to like hold the fort down, so YouTube doesn't have to be a business in the same way for me now. So I think I can focus more on the joy and fun it brings me, and, connecting with you guys, rather than stressing out when I pull my hair out over, oh no, I want to talk about this, but it's not trendy enough, it's not going to pull enough views, nobody does this anymore, because, hell, I've been away, it's going to be a learning curve, because none of this is familiar to me anymore, but I miss telling stories to you guys, because at the end of the day, that's what I like to do. I like to tell stories, I like to share things, and I really miss this. And I have been doing some storytelling. I've actually gotten really back into writing. I think I've shared on this channel a while back. I wrote an anthology of like scary stories for kids, but I'm also now working on a full-length novel with a lot of heavy inspiration from my time living out in Appalachia and the spooky stuff that happens in the middle of nowhere. So I'm excited to share more about that with you guys as it gets rolling. But all that to say, this isn't the longest video in the world, it doesn't need to be. I just kind of wanted to say, hey, I'm back. I know a lot of you have like moved on with life, so I may just be screaming into the void here, but I just want to announce I am going to be coming back on here. I'm going to start sharing more personal story times, more of my experiences. I think I'd like to dip my toe into other creepy stuff, cryptids, other things, just general spooky stuff, but I definitely have a backlog of creepy personal stories. Hell, not even just creepy stories. I think if you guys are interested, just lots of stories in general of my time out in Appalachia, because scary, funny, strange, so many things happened in my life out there, and I kind of like, while I was going through my personal development journey, I kept kind of radio silent. I was going through it, let's be honest. I was having like a freaking identity crisis out there, trying to figure out who I was. I mean, I think at one point, when I was going through the worst of it, and this is kind of an embarrassing thing, but it's also kind of funny, so I'm gonna share with y'all. When I was at my absolute worst, like losing my mind, big crash out, I went out into the woods, the woods behind the house, I'll describe like the property and everything later in a video because I got stories coming up, but I was at like bubbling over point and I was like, I need to vent this out or I'm going to lose my mind. So I go out into the woods behind the house and I just shriek like a demon. I just shrieked and ungodly sounds came out of me. Made me feel a whole lot better. Though, if there were any hunters or anybody moving through the property out there, sorry, probably scared the absolute crap out of them. But it was a thing. It was property that like we were on, but like it was such a small town, people would move through. Well, it wasn't a big deal, but if they were there, oopsie. But yeah, so I was kind of having a big old crash out, losing my mind, trying to find myself. Moved all over, out to Appalachia, and back here to where my family is in Arizona. Arizona has been good as far as like finally like stabilizing, but it's hot. This city is a testament to the hubris of man. Good Lord, these summers, I tell you, are enough in themselves. But otherwise, we're hanging in there. I'm finally feeling fuller in my spirit, and I'm feeling better. I started becoming a bit of a gym rat. I know I don't look it too much, but I have gotten into the gym. I've gotten to moving, and I've got my museum stuff, and I'm settling in here after being a crazy hermit in the mountains. Okay, so it's baby steps. We're getting there. But along with that, I feel creative again. I feel like writing. Hell, I may even feel up to making music and singing again. I feel like I finally got my spirit back because that was a big part of it. A big ol' swing of depression. So, but I feel like many of us were kind of going through it. I'm sure many of you the last couple of years that there's been a lot going on in the world. Okay, we're tired. We are tired. There has been a lot going on all at once. I am tired. I don't want another historic event. I'm tired of this, Grandpa, and it shouldn't have to be too damn bad. All that to say, before I go rambling off too much longer, it is good to finally feel like I've found myself again and be up to wanting to connect and share these stories again. And if any of y'all are still out there and still interested in hearing from me and new stories and whatever else I might put out, I'm glad to be back here and I'm excited to reconnect with you guys. My content might look a little different. I'll be so for real. Other than maybe narrating some of my own stuff or maybe stuff from friends, I'm not feeling too much into doing a ton of like creepypasta narration style stuff. I did over a decade and a half of that. I'm sorry, but I'm still not entirely sure I'm over the burnout on that. But I'd like to share some other stories and fun facts and different things like that I actually enjoy doing now that YouTube can just be a hobby for me again. Anyway, I have missed you guys, and it's crazy saying this again finally because I feel like I keep crashing out wanting to get back, but I will see you guys again soon. And I can't wait to share. I think the next story that I'm going to share after this one, I already know which one, since I've ripped the Band-Aid with this, I am going to be telling the story of when I was out in Appalachia and I encountered, I guess the best term for it is like a knot deer. And I don't mean in like the viral, everybody's like, it's very trendy to talk about. I mean like out there on the holler, out there in the deep woods, like, all the townies, like, were like, have you seen it yet? I'm like, seen what yet? And they're like, you will. I'm like, don't like that. So I'll be sharing that story with you guys next before this one gets too long. But, yeah, take care, and I will see you next time. Stay creepy.